my place has a bunch of kitchen equipment that I can't really haul over here that easily, so it'd it'd just be easier to have you come there. My roommate and her mom will probably be there, so try not to embarrass me.
Embarrass her?
Though you will have to bring some additional ingredients since I'm running low.
That's fine. You can text me the list later.
You almost looked disappointed that I wasn't going to be coming over to your place. Did you want to hang out at your place?
Sensing an opportunity to get back at her, I decide fair is fair. Nothing that a bit of spooning can't fix. Natsuki looks both stunned and flushed red. Of dough onto a baking sheet. The room is deafening silent. You can almost hear a pin drop.
You're such a dumbass!
Sorry, I swear I'll turn over a new leaf.
Seriously!
Okay. Double or muffin.
I'm out of here!
I'm sorry, I'll do better, I swear.
Dear God!
She abruptly turns and starts to walk briskly towards the door, but then stops just short of it and turns around with a devilish smile on her face.
Compared to my roommate, baking with you will be a cakewalk!
She giggles to herself and quickly leaves the room while I stand there somewhat stunned. I can hear her laughing down the hall as she walks away. Touché, Natsuki. Shaking it off, I make my way back to Sayori's locker, after which we both head out towards home. This weekend is going to be interesting. I can't wait to get closer to Natsuki. Fuck on. Thanks for playing. Gosh. Oh no, we'll worry about that later. Alright, I guess that just leaves Yuri then. Yeah, we're gonna just take it on top. Yeah, go. Go! Not that there are any Yuri moments to worry about in, like, these beginning bits. But whatever. Yeah, if there was an extra scene with Natsuki that would have happened there. I don't know. I think I chose correctly, but it's a little hard to tell with some of these options. Like, I picked Natsuki every time I could, but I don't know if, like, the choices I made on her route might have messed something up, you know? I guess it's possible. Because, like... Well, whenever I went through it again, before I started recording, I picked the opposite of most of the options I chose because they seemed like they would be better, but at least one of them seemed like it got a more negative reaction than the other one. So, I'm not sure. Not walking with Sayori, though. This rest's not about her. I guess we'll have to see. I'll be careful picking my choices for Yuri here. And if it turns out I missed something for Natsuki, I guess we'll do it again. Oops, I double-clicked. It's fine. Yuri, let's get you some words, dear. Raindrops, sure. There's thumping above me. I do not know what it is. I also don't know if the recording's picking it up. It's usually pretty good about, like, background noise. Like, anything that isn't hitting the mic directly usually gets filtered out pretty easily. You can't even hear, like, the mini humidifier I have running next to my laptop or my heater going. It's like, whatever. It's probably fine. What I'm saying is, if you heard some thumping, don't worry about it. I'm not worried. You shouldn't be either. Maybe I should be worried. Maybe you should be worried that I'm not worried. Maybe I should worry that you're not worrying enough. I don't... You know what? Where are we going with this? Are any of these words crimson? Crimson. Incongruent. No, that's Monica. That's stable. Not hopeless. Not dark enough. I don't think any of these are Yuri words, actually. I'm gonna go with remorse, even though it's a Monica word. There's a revelation? No. Tenacious? Tenacious. Getting there. Termination. All those vowels and syllables. Alright, skip. I don't trust him. Admittedly, I'm a little mixed on Yuri. On the one hand, I've always found her to be somewhat relatable. I've usually preferred a good book to the company of others. But on the other hand, I can't shake a bit of anxiety from when she had that look on her face when she... I shake the thought off. I know it was because of Monica, but sometimes I wonder how much was Monica's influence and how much was just that which was already there, deep inside, but cranked to 11. This is silly. I should just talk to her. I know once I do, I'll feel a lot more comfortable around her. Crap. I think she noticed me staring at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable.
Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so...
Ah, yeah, the Book of Markov, correct?
Actually, it's the Portrait of Markov.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
It's alright. I just gave it to you, so...
True, thanks again for that. I thought you had already read through it. Yuri nods.
I just wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason.
Heh, I know what you meant. Yuri lets out a small sigh of relief. So tell me, what is the story about? Without giving too much away, of course.
Of course. Well...
Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover.
Alright. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart.
Wow, sounds interesting. Yup, that's about as dark as I recall. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden.
Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Hallie?
Oh no, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry.
I hope so.
This is one of those things that interested me the most about Yuri. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different.
It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a new or strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in.
You know, I don't know how many people pick up on this, and I didn't exactly mention it, or at least I don't think I mentioned it when I played Plus. But this line is so specifically about DDLC and Monica that it's kind of a wonder to me they never saw it discussed in the fandom at any point.
And suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. You raise a good point, and I get what you're saying. Sometimes the world isn't so black and white, good versus evil, etc. Oh, and it's also very true of what Natsuki says about Pro Free Girls, how the beginning is slice of life and kind of dull and there's nothing happening, but then later it's kind of drama. Anyway, stories like these tend to delve into the motivation for the villain beyond wanting to harm. Rather, sometimes it can humanize the villain. Someone that we can relate to and maybe understand the reason for doing what they do, even if we don't agree with how they're doing it. My eyes dart for a moment towards Monica when I say this. The parallel was unintentional, but incidentally, the metaphor seems to fit. No, it's 100% foreshadowing. Meanwhile, Yuri looks pretty pleased by this analysis.
Exactly, yes, that's a good way to put it. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much.
I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club, after all.
Ah, that's true.
Hey, Yuri.
Yes?
Since I'm here and we have some time, would you want to read the first part of the book with me? Yuri looks a bit surprised.
You want to read with me, together, at the same time?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, since you're already rereading it, and I would just be starting, it'd be nice to read together, and if I have questions, you'd be able to help clarify things. If you want to, though, no pressure or worry if not. She thinks about this for a moment, as if trying to decide whether or not she's up for that much of a social commitment.
I think I'd like that.
She looks down kind of bashfully, which just ends up making me feel warm in the face. Before I know it, I'm trying to hide a big grin as I go to retrieve the book from my bag. Mind if I sit here? I mean, I suppose it'd be difficult to read together otherwise, but I just wanted to make sure. Yuri nods her head with a smile. You seem a little apprehensive.
I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone.
I see. Well, just let me know if I end up distracting you or anything.
Alright.
Knowing where this would be going anyway, I decided to save us both the awkwardness. In fact, it might be a little easier if we just shared a book between us. That way we can be on the same page. Literally. I groaned to myself a little at the pun, but hey, I saw an opportunity and I went for it. No regrets. Yuri anxiously chuckles.
Well, I suppose that makes sense.
I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I begin as any good book would, with the prologue. Admittedly, it's a little distracting at first reading with someone else, though it's not a particularly bad thing. Indeed, the feeling is somewhat comforting. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. This seems familiar. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the pages.
Here.
Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her and thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm, on the right side of the book. You know, I can tell they mirrored this, but it kind of doesn't work because of the positions of the windows. Like, to achieve this, they would have had to turn all the desks around. Oh, whatever. That way I turn a page, and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. Oh no, wait, no, yeah, even if they did, like, turn all the desks around, this wouldn't work because the closet would have been here. They went to an entirely different room, guys. I'm feeling a little flushed, but I try not to let it distract me. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Meanwhile, I'm beginning to realize the story is actually a bit darker than I had realized. Hey Yuri, I know it's only been hinted at so far in the story, but what do you think was the original intent of the prison? Does the story expand on that?
Well, yes and no. It doesn't explicitly or directly state the complete origin story aside from several lab notes left by the original researchers. But those, along with a couple of chapters that go more in depth into the types of experiments, leave enough context clues that most readers can piece together the purpose. It's one of the reasons that I really love this book. It doesn't just hand you the answers on a plate. It makes you work for the answers. Part of the joy of the mystery is being able to solve it yourself.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. Though I think sometimes authors prefer to leave some questions or answers open-ended in order to allow the reader to form their own opinions. Sometimes author is... Yuri nods.
Exactly. There are a lot of great stories out there that have all of their plot points tied up in a nice bow at the end. And while those can't be satisfying in and of themselves, there's also something to the adage, always leave them wanting more.
True, though personally I hate it when stories do that. Yuri stifles a giggle. Not gonna capitalize that?
Ali, you have to be more open to creating your own endings and possibilities, even if they aren't always fully fleshed out. You'll enjoy more stories that way.
I suppose so. Another thing I noticed is that this character shares a lot in common with you, and if I'm being honest, myself as well.
Oh, how so?
Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second-guesses all of the things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. If I'm not being too presumptuous, I'd say that you and I both tend to overanalyze things in our heads and do a lot of the same thing. Yeah, but they're also kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms.
I see.
Yuri remains silent for a moment.
But Hallie, isn't that a terrible thing to have in common with her? That's kind of embarrassing.
But wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't think you weren't aware that I could tell. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute.
What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long.
Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought.
Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine.
Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright. I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you?
I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way.
In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know?
That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time.
Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. Alright. Let's show Yuri our poem that we worked so hard on. Definitely has to be Yuri. It'll be good to get an experienced opinion. I think Yuri may be the only one whose opinion I am most anxious about. She seemed like she was a lot better with this type of stuff than I ever was. I gently hand her my poem. A boat. There exists a vast ocean, heaving to and fro, its waves lapping and lashing, ebbing and flowing. On that ocean exists a ship. cresting and bobbing, the foam of the waves splashing and crashing into its sides. The ship is old and tattered, but it's built very sturdy. Though it has seen better days and its hull has been worn, it still manages to stay afloat, to do exactly what it was designed to do. Creaking and cracking, the ship continues to dip and crest, the waves endlessly pushing it towards parts unknown. The ship has seen many battles, its paint is worn and its railings cracked. Its sails are torn, but despite all this, it stays afloat, to do exactly what it was designed to do. The only sounds that can be heard upon it are those of the wood and the sails, creaking, flapping, groaning its sails, yet it has no crew. No crew to direct it, no crew to maintain it, yet it still stays afloat, doing exactly what it was designed to do. Would that it could find its destination, it ports to anchor, to a crew to maintain it, its sails unwavering, ceaselessly drifting forward, that it might find these things someday. Then it happens, the boards crack, and a hole forms, no bigger than a fist. What was once outside is now in. What was once sound is now undone. No crew to bail the water, no help to patch the leak. The ship begins to sink. A ship is designed to stay afloat, but it is not designed to be alone. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes light up.
Exceptional.
Eh? What was that?
Did I say that out loud?
Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face.
He's going to hate me.
You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri.
That's... I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for?
Yuri takes a breath.
So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before.
Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is sort of my first time, really.
Huh?
Yuri stares at me blankly, then I skipped the rest of the line by accident. Looks at my poem again.
Well, I know that. I just...
Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly.
Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell.
And then she tells us how we're like generic and bad at writing.
And it's nothing really. Well, you should give yourself full credit. Yours was impressive too, so...
Nah, if anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you.
You think so?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Hallie.
I catch myself starting to blush and look away, rubbing the back of my neck. Me too. That's so nice. I just show it to Monica. I'm going, one moment please, dear you. I'm going to put, oh wait, no, skip one choices is on. Good!
Great job, Hallie. I was going in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess that means you're interested in getting to know Yuri better.
I suppose so. I kind of identify with her loneliness, so I wanted to let her know that she isn't actually alone.
Well, that's certainly commendable of you. But Hallie, be sure to let her open up to you slowly. She's rather skittish, especially when it comes to her own personal issues. If you try to press her too much, she'll retreat further into herself, and you'll find it next to impossible to get her to come out.
Noted. I wasn't planning on doing anything too drastic anyway. Monica nods.
I really like that you tried to match your style here as well. Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Alexi likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively. Both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It can take years of practice. How long have you been writing?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say I do this a lot, and certainly not as long as I'm sure Yuri has.
Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things.
I'm sure I'll end up trying different things out. No, I won't. I'm gonna keep going for Yuri. Natsuki's gonna hate this. Her eyes are gonna explode out of her head. Wait, no, that's only Act 2. And only random chance as well. Alright, so we're gonna side with Yuri. Correctly and resolutely.